How did we even get here?
I don't know.
I don't know. Luke, spirituality.
Yeah.
Spirituality.
It's a real quick
You know,
draw. It's a real
I
quick
actually-
jumping point.
I have gotten better at. I've noticed following conversations, like just when I'm talking with my friends, right?
Yeah.
And what I mean, like, it's not like I didn't listen before, but then if I'm talking with people because I'm trying to be here when I'm doing this, I'm trying to be a good host, keep the conversation going, remember how we got on topics.
Mm-hmm.
So then if I'm with other friends, I'm like, how the hell did we start talking about attack helicopters or whatever? I'm like, oh, well, we were talking about this, and this. Like, I've noticed I actually check into conversations a little bit.
That's
more.
good.
That's
And
good.
I once listened to a Joe Rogan thing where he's talking about, for him, it's almost like meditative how much he has to listen, especially because he does it 4 times a day or whatever, and
Right.
it's like some physicist talking about super advanced shit, and
That he
he's
is
like, I'm done
not
with
He's like,
hell.
I'm
Follow
so
it.
fucking
Yeah.
baked.
Yeah, exactly.
Exactly.
And like, even, we had a friend of ours who is doing an MBA, and he's more of a finance guy, so started talking about the finance world, and my eyes were kind of glazing over a little bit, and I'm like, fuck, I need to like pay attention to this. So I was trying to like actually like check in, pay attention to the words of the conversation, like what they were saying, also kind of steer it back a little bit, sort of thing, because they got into some fairly advanced stuff, and I'm like, okay, like the average person listening to this doesn't know what you're talking about, right? So
Yeah.
But I know.
yeah, but you know,
But I know.
I always think of them. Do you guys watch The Office?
Yes. No.
No. Like
No.
never.
Never.
Are you like an anti?
No,
The
okay, I
Office?
shouldn't say never. I think I've watched 2 episodes because I was forced to. We were having a cuddle puddle watching The Office,
Yeah.
and I was like,
Yeah.
And I was like, parkour! Jack's like,
Yeah.
fuck.
Yeah.
So, anyways, there's one part where Oscar the accountant is explaining something to Michael, which is Steve Carell's character, about money stuff, and he's explaining it to him, and then he finishes, and then Steve Carell's like, okay, explain it to me like I'm 6 years old, and he's like, okay, and he's like, he explains it as like a lemonade stand situation, and he finishes, and then he's like, okay, explain it to me like I'm 4 years old.
That was kind of
You
the
know what I'm-
situation
Yeah,
you
yeah,
were in.
exactly.
Yeah.
You know what episode I'm talking about, so yeah.
I feel like sometimes I'm on the end of that. Like, should probably dumb it down a little bit for me.
We all have our strengths.
Yeah. I don't have many of them, but
Stop. Self-deprecation levels in this basement are...
Through the roof.
Yeah, sorry. Do you feel like, though, you guys have had the opportunity to, like, connect with people in a way that you maybe normally wouldn't through the podcast? Like, just between having different guests on?
I think so.
Yeah,
I think that
like
it's been-
this long form content is quite fulfilling as hosts, I would say, where you get to talk and get to know a person a lot better, especially where it's, well, just someone if you, well, for me, quite a few of the people we've had have been more Josh's friends than my friends, right? Where I don't even know them particularly well, other than casual conversation. We're actually getting deep diving into topics, which is very interesting. And then where it's someone who maybe I've known for a while, like Eric, the marketing guy who we had on recently. So we've known him for quite a few years, but just to talk on a more personal level like that, it's like we wouldn't really get that opportunity unless we're like, hey, like, do you want to be friends? Like, I don't know how to, you know what I mean? Like,
does
I
lend itself
don't
to
know
that.
how to
Yeah.
explain that because
It
the
does lend
topics we
itself to
talk
that.
about where,
Yeah.
because the conversation sort of grows, and that's why
Yeah.
Yeah, I
also
like that.
we do a, oh, fuck's sakes.
Camera's dead.
No.
But it does lead it, like, it lends
Yeah.
itself to
Well-
that whole conversation.
And
I like that.
I found the way we do our pauses, because we do a pause about 30 minutes due to production constraints, let's call it that, right? So, but because of that, kind of the 30 minutes is like a good warm-up, if you will, and then we naturally kind of go for about an hour after that, just because you build and you sort of get into it. And like it's sort of a interesting social group dynamic, social psychology thing you could really get into it, where you like, I don't know.
I think we could go for, like, hours.
Oh yeah, and
Oh,
also
yeah.
I know, I feel
Josh
like
and
at this
I
point
are
we
the
could go
type
for
who.
hours.
I know we
Yeah.
could. That's the
And-
problem.
and- oh,
And I'm like,
becomes
how long
like-
have we been going?
It's like, do we do a
stop?
5-hour podcast or like what do we
especially
do,
all
right?
of us together, right? And
Yeah.
then Josh and I have always kind of talked like this is the thing too, and that's why we wanted to do this.
Mm-hmm.
And I've noticed and listening, especially because I try to listen to other, not just because Joe Rogan's like 3 hours every time, right? Like I try to listen to local podcasts, see what they're doing, and people try to stay towards like an hour-ish, and I think you guys roughly.
Like you guys are like 57
Yeah.
minutes.
Yeah.
We don't like have time constraints, so usually just kind of like by
Yeah.
about an hour, we're just kind of wrapping up.
Yeah.
It just kind of has worked
But
that way.
I don't know. Maybe
We've
we
gone
let-
for like 2.
fuck. Maybe
I know
we.
you have like some hour and a
we're
half
pretty. We're
episodes.
pretty good right now.
Yeah.
But I don't know. We're at 2 hours, but we can just sort of talk like this, and I don't think
And
there's
it just keeps going.
exactly right. So
yeah,
and-
like we literally could never stop.
Oh, for
probably.
sure.
There's times where we go out for coffee and it's just like, oh shit, it's fucking 4
actually,
o'clock
I
already.
every
Yeah.
time and then especially when we were working together more directly was, we would always have like our meetings, like a coffee meeting or whatever. That would be like 30 minutes, but we'd be there for like 2.5 hours because we talk about business,
Yeah.
and then we just start talking about, I don't know,
Yeah.
cheese sandwiches or I don't know,
Spaceships.
spaceships or girls or anything in between,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
So
Yeah.
Thank you. I'm hungry now.
For a cheese sandwich.
Yeah.
I can go for a cheese sandwich.